Inside this room, all of my dreams become realities, and some of my realities become dreams.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
You are listening to The Wilder Ride, getting wilder by the minute. Here are your hosts, Alan Sanders and Walt Murray.
Hey everyone, happy Monday. Welcome back to The Wilder Ride, getting wilder by the minute, a podcast that looks at the films of Gene Wilder 1 minute at a time. And season 2, we are diving into the film Blazing Saddles, one Doctor Gillespie killings at a time. I'm Alan Sanders, your host.
I am Walt Murray, your co-host.
And joining us back again, the guys from the radio show BK on the Air. We've got BK and Commander Clark.
Thanks for having us back. Yes, it's Monday.
Yes, it's awesome.
It's the 11th minute, the 11th episode on this 11th day of March. There's something provincial about this minute. I feel like Harvey Korman all of a sudden. So provincial.
I'm just scared. That's too many similar numbers all at once. And you using
scared.
It's just I'm sitting between BK and Commander Clark.
That explains.
I mean, this is just a frightening place.
Is your mind aglow with whirling? Is it really?
A whirling dervish.
You putz. Provincial putz. Right, that was the last minute.
Ditto.
Well, that's shit.
The next minute.
Oh, dear Lord. How many times are we going to say that word?
I'm just
You know how many dings and
waiting to
dongs
see what you're filling it in with.
We're going to sound like Ben, like 12 o'clock in England, you know? I got so many bombs going off in this episode.
Right.
Like the Ozzy Osbourne show.
Wait a minute. Did you,
What kind of podcast is this?
We have bongs. You know?
Oh, bongs. What kind of podcast is this?
Whoa, what did you hear? Dongs?
Dongs, bongs?
No, we have a joke about a hung horse, but that's coming up later.
That's coming up later. Yeah, but dong is the second word after ding.
Ding
in a
dong.
bell, so yeah.
Ding dong.
But
I said bongs.
What are you masking out the language
Dave's
with
not
on
here.
this show?
But, well, it's still a safe podcast. I have to cover all that up.
So you fired the dolphin? But what are you editing the language with on this one?
You're going to have to hear it.
Oh, well, we don't know yet. Okay.
He hasn't decided.
Well, I thought that was the clue when I said it's going to sound like it's ringing 12 in England with this opening because we're going to have so many bongs in a row.
Did you sit down because it is Blazing Saddles and come up with a list of words that you cannot let pass and you can let pass?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right.
Yes. And there are some that you could probably let pass, but I'm not going to.
Okay. I'll try a few of them in this episode.
Why don't you do that? Give it a try. Okay. Maybe we can sound like we dropped a box of utensils.
Okay.
Well, before we get going here, did we watch the minute?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
I will loop it for you. Would you like me to do that for
what
you?
What podcast am I on?
Where are we?
What's happening?
Who am I and what am I doing here?
Why am I here? Is it Saturday?
Hey, God, it's me, Margaret.
Why is it so dark? Well, if that isn't a bag over the head, punch in the face.
Okay, well, we start off. Let me set the table. Hey, everybody, happy Monday. We'll set the table for you on this 11th minute. We do start off with, yes, the Dr. Gillespie killings, and we will end with the rightful owners. So let's start off right away with the inside joke that actually was a pretty... I don't know how many people in 1974 got this joke. It works even if you don't get it.
I don't know how many people in this room in 20 got it.
Yeah, let me say this, that this is, and if somebody wants to cover the joke, that's fine, because we all got the info on it. But I did not get it when I first saw it. Didn't get it until I actually had to look it up. This is probably one of the most obscure Mel Brooks jokes he's ever used before. And I thought, wow,
Can I honestly tell you that when I looked it up, I didn't think, like, it almost lost humor for me.
Yeah, I'm like, that was
like,
just
that's way too academic.
Thrown in there, yeah. Come on, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, my notes for this minute are 7. I've got a 7 written down.
You wrote a 7.
Anything that you can do to fill me in on these murders.
That actually has to do with the court case.
Oh,
what does 7 mean?
Well done. That's right. That's going to be coming up.
Yeah. So
Once we talk about the Dr. Gillespie killings.
All right. So the Dr. Gillespie killing. So here's what, first of all, we all looked it up, but to the best of your recollection, or since then, until we now actually looked up the real answer, what did you think it meant?
I thought it was a joke that I didn't get. I'm like, this is obviously a reference to something that I don't get.
Okay.
That's all I could come up with.
That was pretty much me too. Like, it was that old man killed a bunch of people.
Right.
And it was funny because he was in a wheelchair.
Right. That's exactly what I thought. Like he was some kind of an Old West serial killer, and it was known as the Dr. Gillespie killings. Right. And here he is, this guy infirmed. He can't even move his arms.
Yes.
Like, how did he manage this? Did he time his roll down the hill when someone was crossing the street and run him over?
He fell on them with the knife out.
But a lot
like the kid from that got hit with the machete in Jason 2.
Oh, yeah.
Goes downstairs.
Yeah.
I always wanted that like as an action figure where you could like insert the machete in the back of his head and like throw him down your bed.
Well, I just assumed he had razor wheels.
Right. But a lot of lines in these Mel Brooks films were there for a reason.
Ooh,
and I'm like, well, I guess that's a joke that I just don't get. That's what I was thinking it was.
It seemed like that was, and I think we all thought that then. We just assumed he was the killer.
Yeah.
Like he was being hung for the killings, whatever he did, that here's this doctor, and okay, so guy in a wheelchair. That's kind of fun. I mean, bad that we're laughing at the guy that must have killed people, but we're thinking it's funny because he's in a wheelchair.
The only thing
we'll laugh at him.
The only thing I'm saying is the line is not funny though, and there's not a lot of lines really that aren't funny in these movies. So I'm thinking it's a line that obviously means something. I just don't get it. And even then, I thought that's what it was. I just didn't get the
I think
joke.
for a while when I heard it, I always thought it's something that they're referencing something that they'll talk about in a minute.
Or that's
right. There's something coming that'll explain this.
Yeah, but after watching it like a dozen times, 24 times, or 500th time, however many times you've watched it, I still always went back to it must be that he's Dr. Gillespie. Yep. I never even bothered to look in the credits because, like you said, a lot of actors weren't credited in the release of this film.
Right, particularly this minute.
But 25 years ago, when I was thinking, when computers become popular and podcasts are done, maybe I'll look up the reason why he says Gillespie and find out what it was.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive into it because it does, if anything, it does go to show for comedy writers and for people who were dealing with fart jokes and just funny humor and just sarcasm, they had a pretty intellectual basis for a lot of their jokes.
To come up with that one, yes, you're right. Yes, and a lot more, because I don't know how many people got that joke. That's what I'd like to know, other than the writers and Mel and maybe the people who wrote the movie, who got that joke?
Maybe older fans, older people who remember those films.
The Gillespie films?
Yeah.
I didn't even know how that tied together. That's the funny thing, too, because there was no movie called The Gillespie Killings.
No.
Right.
Thanks for that's awesome.
Killed the whole thing.
Hold on.
Actually, we need to add the noise. We need to add the noise of the hangman that scares Taggart all the time for a sound effect.
Yeah.
Oh, that went over like
I may have to isolate that one so we're not just hearing nothing but bongs the whole time.
Okay, so what are the Dr. Gillespie killings?
You want to take that, Barry?
No, you take it. I've taken a lot.
All right. The man in the wheelchair is supposed to be Lionel Barrymore, who played Dr. Gillespie in a number of films, and there was also a bunch of books based on him. He was confined to a wheelchair because he had an extreme condition of arthritis, and he was supposed to only live about a year, but he kept living, and he kept making these movies. This was supposed to be kind of Mel's twisted take on what should be the last Dr. Gillespie film. He also played the character in the Dr. Kildare TV show as Dr. Kildare's mentor.
So Dr. Gillespie killed people?
No. This was the
how they're going to kill
Dr. Gillespie.
To kill that franchise. This is what he wants to do. Kill the franchise.
Kill the franchise. No more Lionel Barrymore in a wheelchair. You were supposed to die 7 years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't like 7 years later?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he was only supposed to live a year, and it was like 7 years. They kept making movies. Like, well, we can roll him around. At least we know he'll hit his mark.
Yeah.
So bravo to Mel for making a joke for the old folks that nobody else got.
Yep.
Even to this day, some people don't know what that means.
I could just see it at the movie theater. The Dr. Gillespie killing. In the very back row.
It's hilarious. John Barrymore. That's right. And then the guy dies. That's right.
Yes. And then everybody laughs at Hedley hitting his head on the window.
Dad at the back of the room going, it's just a movie reference.
See, there was an actor. Shut up.
Back in the day.
It's a Gillespie thing. You wouldn't understand.
Paul Lynn does.
Way to say it. Reference,
You just wouldn't understand.
Dr. Gillespie.
So I wonder if that was one of the things in the notes they said has to be cut, and Mel was like, well, out of spite, it's staying in.
That's one of the few things that probably wasn't cut from the movie because they didn't know. You know what? The executives didn't know what he was doing.
The execs were like,
Didn't get it.
it's brilliant.
That's the one thing I would have cut.
Or they were fans of the Dr. Gillespie films and said, keep
Could
it.
have been. Yeah, could have been.
All right. So he once again he comes through the window and closes the shades after dealing with the Gillespie killings.
By the way,
And
isn't it nice that Boris kisses the poor guy on the head?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Like,
It was right after the line from last Friday. This one's a doozy. Mwah.
And kisses him
So
on
it
the
continues
head.
on. It is very funny.
Well,
One's a doozy.
it's exactly what you expect from your hangman, right?
Yes.
Well,
I mean-
when two of your employees are out with the flu, I mean, yeah,
I love a guy who loves his work.
He really does. He's very passionate about it.
He is, and he makes it a fun time for everybody. It's kind of like a show.
He's
But
got his
now-
great
19
grandfather's stuff on, and
Yes.
I mean, he's really
A little Febreze on that. It smells fine.
he brings it every day.
He brings it.
Now, we don't hear, though, Dr. Gillespie getting hung, do we? Because the next hanging is later on.
Yes, don't we? Because when Hedley comes back in here, or was that before?
No, we don't hear the hanging.
So we don't hear the hangman. We hung him before. We hung him. We
Right.
heard that before
Yeah.
when he went out. Okay. There's one right here. There's one coming up in this minute because
No.
it causes him to knock the books off the desk.
No.
No, I think
Is that
it's
the next
what
one?
he's
No,
doing
this
to
is
the
what's
statue.
making
I think he's disturbed.
Oh,
Yes.
We're going to have to describe this carefully.
Yes, when that railroad goes through Rock Ridge, that land will be worth millions. And I want it. I want that land so badly. I can taste it. There must be a way.
He's tipping the scales of justice. I mean,
Oh, is that what he's doing?
yes.
Is that the word
I-
tipping? Tipping?
I am going home after this and saying, honey, I'd like to tip the scales of justice with you.
Don't say pegging.
She's not going to know what I'm talking about.
No, she might.
Whatever you do, say tipping. Don't say
Do
pegging.
not say that.
tipping.
Do
Whatever
not
you do.
say that.
And if you don't know what I mean, I'll tell you at the commercial break.
He's just weighing justice.
Uh-huh.
Is there? And I put. Is there ever? Has there ever been a movie where someone humps a statue of justice? I don't think so. I think this is the only one in history where that happens.
Justice is nicely built.
Yes, very much.
And I think Taggart has the look that all of us have. Watching, we're like, what the Sam Hill am I looking at?
or in the wild, wild world of sports.
Yeah.
So, Alan, how is this portrayed in the script?
Well, in the script, these lines all the way up to, I want that land so badly I can taste it. But that's where it ends. He never talks about there must be a way. He never talks about legal. He never goes and looks it up. He never has the joke about land snatching, see snatch. All of that was improv or added on the set. They were not in the script.
Really?
No.
Oh, wow.
Now, the lines about where can we? Oh, yes, Rock Ridge. When that railroad comes through Rock Ridge, that property there will be worth millions, and I want it. I want that land so badly I can taste it. That's in the script. Now, the way he chose to deliver it was not. They never said anything about him grabbing a statue, molesting a poor lady justice.
Well, can you do me? We're actually watching the minutes as we're recording. Can you do me a favor and make it bigger?
Make it bigger.
Excuse me?
That's what she said.
Yeah, the scales
You know
of
what I'm
justice.
talking about. Get your mind out of the drugstore.
No, but I have to watch the levels. That's the problem.
Oh no! But I mean, I want to. If we can make it bigger for just a second, I wanted to point out something on Hedley's desk, and I want to see if you guys see it too. I can't make out a lot. A lot of things look pretty standard on his desk, but does he have a jar of mint candies on his desk in that little jar there? See the glass jar? To me, that looks like a jar of little mints.
It's definitely little candies because he chokes on one later in the movie.
Right. So it is.
Yes,
mints. Okay.
it's little small candy.
Well, we haven't really seen later on in the movie, so
No, that does look like candy.
74,
Okay,
who
so
would be
that's
like
what it
the
is. We do have
president?
mint
Is it a
candies.
reference to the presidents? Because they usually keep candy on their desks.
Didn't every old person in the 70s, like when I went to go visit my grandmother,
But there was candy all over the house.
it was like, but it was all by that point fused into one
Yes.
big block, and you try to pick one candy out, and like 7 come stuck to it. And you're like, what are these?
And-
this
wow,
actually
so it is candy.
This
Okay.
whole scene of him grabbing the statue, it sort of every time I tell somebody that one of our dogs is a combination Chow Pekingese, and anybody who knows how big a Chow is and how small a Pekingese is, and they always have that look like, which one was the male? They want to know because they were such disparate sizes.
wow.
And all of a sudden I see Harvey Korman. I'm like, well, either he's got a very tiny Winky
Winky.
or poor lady Justice.
Winky.
Winky.
Well,
It's a podcast. You can say dick. You know.
Hey, that means another dang bong.
Maybe you can't. Okay,
Dang
sorry.
bong.
Okay, sorry about that.
So I
We
guess
too low.
I guess cock is out of the question.
Something wrong.
Something wrong.
I'm just going to sit here and drink my coffee.
Just drinking my coffee.
We so far.
Drinking my coffee.
Or I'm going to spray my coffee all over the studio.
Oh, dear Lord.
Okay,
He never drinks a second cup at home.
This too, by the way.
Okay.
This is this minute. We're in minute number 11. This happens here. Would Hedley Lamarr have ever have thought of the legal precedent if Taggart had knocked over those law books on the desk to make him think of it? Because he didn't think of it until he knocks the books off.
Right.
And he goes, wait.
Wait a minute. There might be legal precedent. Of course. Land snatching. Let's see. Land. Sea snatch. Snatch. Ah! Haley versus United States. Haley 7, United States nothing. You see, it can be done. Can be done.
There may be a legal precedent. If he had not knocked those books off, I wonder if Hedley may have, because Hedley's a lawyer.
He's a man of the
shyster
law,
anyway.
yeah.
He would know. But I wonder how long it would have taken him to figure that out had he not knocked the books off like that. Because that's what sparks him to look this up. There may be a legal precedent.
I do like the inside joke very quickly, because as always with the old reference books, once again, we remember going to the library, finding the 2 or 3 volumes that were the search books that had, like, you looked up what you were looking for, frogs, cheetahs, whatever, and they would say, oh, go to volume A, page whatever, and then you'd go to the encyclopedia or whatever. I love for this legal library that he's looking up land snatch. Right. So you would think, like, land snatch. Okay, look up theft. Look up... land. See snatch. Now, there are some very good, valid definitions for snatch. It is a verb.
I hope you're not
to
on Urban
make
Dictionary.
A sudden effort to seize something, as with the hand, to grab.
That's the only one I know.
Land grab, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right? There's also to seize suddenly, hasty. He snatched him right up. There's also slang, to kidnap. The kid got snatched. It's also slang for vagina.
Why, yes.
That's
yes,
not
it
a
is.
bad
I'm
word.
wondering
That's
what-
a technical word.
I'm wondering what joke might be here. Obviously, it must mean kidnap.
Yes.
Oh, that's what I think, too.
Oh, I believe so. But, you know, it's funny. When Fox Family aired Blazing Saddles, which I don't know why they would be airing Blazing Saddles, in this scene, the word snatch is replaced with see property.
See property.
Now there's a funny joke.
Now, was that in the TV version or was that a dub? Was that a dub or was that the film? It's the scene they filmed special for the.
I don't remember.
An alternate take. I wonder if someone dubbed over Harvey Korman's dialogue. Wow. Interesting.
See property.
If you're going to make that change, I just wonder what did they leave in on Fox Family? I mean, because that joke goes by pretty quick.
I read by too is they didn't change anything else.
Really?
No other words.
Did they leave the farts in?
Yep.
The N-word?
Family.
Yep. But apparently snatch was too much.
There's a line we draw here.
Yep.
And they took out the other profanity.
We can give some land to the and the
I
chick,
don't
but we
remember
can't talk
saying
about
that,
snatch.
But I don't think so.
Jeez, yeah. That that makes.
How about the Irish? Did they leave that in?
Did they leave the Irish?
Maybe. I don't
They
know.
don't want the Irish.
It didn't say.
Yeah, we don't want the
don't
Irish.
want
But I
the
believe they left shitload of dimes. And all
Did
that
they
other
really?
stuff. I believe so, yeah.
Not on Fox Family.
This is what it said.
How do you leave
the
all
only
that in
change
and
it
take
made.
that out?
I don't know. Did you read this on the internet?
Yes,
Okay.
it is true.
Okay.
Well, see, what happened is he typed in words that have been taken out of Blazing Saddles, and it said, did you mean to look up words that were left in Dunkin' Donuts ads?
That's it.
Don't you?
Have you ever noticed how bad Google is about that? It's almost this bad.
Oh, okay.
That if you type in something, you do a search for something, and you say, when did the Bismarck sink? It says, did you mean who won the 1943 World Series?
Are you looking for Bismarck, North Dakota?
That's what I said.
Right.
I don't know about you, but that sounds like a nit. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, wrong guy.
Nitwit. Yeah, nitwit.
Sorry.
Nitwit.
My
Yes.
apologies.
Nitwit.
Well, we are in the book, and he does look up legal precedent, and there is a legal case he cites here.
Yes, there actually is. Now, they call it Haley versus United States. Haley 7, United States 0. which sounds more like a sports score. But
Yes.
there was a case back in 1962. So apparently this book traveled through time and ended up on his desk. That was the United States versus Haley. And Haley, I don't know the first name, was to obtain land from the U.S. government for wheat farming. The government didn't live up to its agreement. Oh, imagine that. And Haley sued the government for the land. Haley won, and government had to give the land to Haley.
Excellent. So it was a land snatch.
It is a land.
And I didn't look them up. I didn't read further, but that wasn't the only one. There were 3 total United States versus Haley
Yeah, there was one in
cases,
1896.
which I thought this was the one they were probably referring to, obviously because of the land. But there were 3 total, believe it or not, of United States versus Haley on the books.
U.S. versus Haley Berry.
Yes.
Yep.
U.S. versus Haley's Comet.
Yep.
And Jack Haley, who played the cowardly lion in Wizard of Oz. That's right.
That's the third one. How do we not have our law degree?
That's right.
We are geniuses.
Put them on.
Put them on.
And don't forget, United States versus Haley in the Comets.
So
Yeah, they nailed him for rocking around the clock. It's against the law, back then.
dun, 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 dun,
Well, I
dun,
think
dun,
the
dun,
Haley
dun,
Berry
dun.
was also a land. There were some land
let's
issues there.
fall down the rabbit hole. Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley and the Comets. Did you know that was used for the first season of Happy Days' main title? Then they got rid of it for the rest of the show and replaced it with a Happy Days song.
With the
Yeah,
Happy Days
because
theme.
of U.S. versus Haley and the Comet.
Yeah, because they sued him for using it.
They
That's
lost
right.
that case.
That's
Haley
right.
and the Comets versus Happy Days.
And by the way, BK, yeah, thank you for pointing out that we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. Because Lord knows,
You know what?
we never
I don't
get
even
that
know
rabbit.
why I say that. Why do I even say it?
It'll never
It's
happen.
moot- it's moot point. It does not. You're right. Rabbit hole is our residence.
Yes.
What I should say is let's not go up out of the rabbit hole. Let's just stay down there.
Well, when we were testing names with our audience, it was going to actually be the Wilder Rabbit Hole. But
That's the
didn't
one I
testify
voted.
as the
I
Wilder
voted for
Ride.
that one. I like that one. I think I was the one vote that voted for it. But hey, you remember your poll that you did for what was your next film you should do, or the Christmas movie you were going to do? Mine didn't win. I voted for Christmas Story, but I think it was second place, wasn't it? Didn't it come in second in the poll
It was pretty high up there.
after Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase?
After, unfortunately, Christmas Vacation. Yeah.
Well, now wait, think of what that's led to.
You got to talk to
It led to
D'Angelo.
me dying for this movie to start. No, it did lead to us talk to Beverly D'Angelo. That was
Well,
kind of
good.
cool.
See, that's great.
See?
Things happen for a reason.
From manure comes
That's right.
Well,
beauty.
It's funny you should say that after your beginning of this podcast with your problem.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That was Friday.
Yeah.
I got that cleared up.
Oh, that's right, from Friday. They're all running together. Especially, running.
ate better
I didn't mean to
today.
say running together. Sorry.
It was just a Baby Ruth bar.
Terrible.
It wasn't running.
Also, it had a structure.
It was.
Alan drank too much coffee. That's what it was. Too much coffee. Oh yeah, that's great.
That was Friday.
Yeah, that was Friday. Yes,
Friday.
I forgot about
2
that.
days ago. Today's Monday.
I put that stuff out of my mind, but you guys just brought that right back.
We
Put that out
forget
of his
nothing.
mind. Out of his mind, out of his shorts.
Someone bring me a towel.
This episode brought to you by Coffee, Nature's Broom.
Nature's diuretic.
Skid mark free.
You have a blockage. Try coffee.
Well, the only other lines that I wanted
getting
to
hot.
point out, and actually, it would be tomorrow. I won't be able to do it today, but the next lines here, according
On
to the
Tuesday.
script, unfortunately, there is one thing that stands between me and that property, and that's the rightful owners, which is exactly where we end this minute with that line, the rightful owners. So apparently there's going to be some continuing conversation here about how is he going to snatch this land of Rock Ridge.
Snatch.
What I like
His property.
as a kid, I kind of like glossed past it for some reason, but because they never really talk much more about it, but he only has the one line, this land will be worth millions when the railroad goes through. And it's kind of like forgotten. It's never, for me, I just totally forgot it was the motivation. I just thought he wanted to get rid of the town of Rock Ridge when I was a kid. I had totally forgotten as a kid that it was all about buying land cheap, like run everybody off, buy the land cheap, wait for the railroad to go through, and then sell it for, a lot more.
So it's a Lex Luthor type of scheme.
Yeah. But you know what? So many Westerns were built on that idea because of organized business pushing the independent ranchers out of their land. I mean, if it wasn't for that subplot, Clint Eastwood wouldn't have a whole series of movies,
Right. And Lone Ranger went into that a lot as well, another Western.
So, I bring that up only to say that as once again, a parody, a spoof, it really is grounded in a lot of the same themes that every Western would have at its roots.
Mm-hmm. Much like Young Frankenstein is grounded in the Frankenstein story. You're right. They want to mix of the source material in to make it believable in with the comedy, and it's done successfully.
And I think that's why this one, much like with Young Frankenstein, stands up even after 45 years because it was true to the genre it was trying to represent. Mm-hmm. There's very few inside jokes from 1974 in this movie.
And it's a good Western.
Yeah, it is.
Until the end, when everything goes crazy.
Fortunately, he didn't do as well when he tried to spoof the sci-fi genre and the Robin Hood.
Right. No, I wouldn't even argue that. I get if you don't like him spilling into the separate movie theaters, but I think it ends perfectly as a Western.
Of course it does. I don't want you want to talk. You don't want to say how it ends to the end, but stay tuned.
You name a Western motif, you've got just about every one of them in here.
Yeah, certainly Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade ends that way.
It does,
if you think about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big bright thing in the sky. That's right.
Nice moment. You just had to say it, didn't you?
Yeah. I didn't say it. I never used the word.
Well, we still have more of this plan to work through here because he still hasn't figured out how do you get the land. There's precedence there, but I don't think he's taken him to court, which is kind of weird that he brings up a court case.
But he said, it can be done.
It can be done, which means there may be another way.
Yeah.
So before we continue this conversation into Tuesday, I'll start with you, Mike. Do you have anything else this minute that we didn't cover or kind of glossed over too quickly?
Nope. Actually, you got it all that I had written down.
Wow.
You got like 14 pages of notes there. We got every bit of it?
Just one. But
yes, I see Halle Bailey.
Do you have your glasses on?
Don't you like the arrows? Because I wrote some more
it's like
stuff.
Everything looks like he's got 14 pages, like it's all blurred.
I got hit in the head on the way in here by some guy with a shovel.
Yes.
I hadn't been the same since.
Just as you were dictating, tell them, I said, ow.
What
tell
the hell
them
was
you
that?
said,
Tell them I said, ow.
Right. Gotcha. BK, what about you? Any other notes for you?
We covered everything that I was going to talk about as well. We covered it all, yes.
Excellent. Let's keep in mind the note about whether or not we hear if the Doctor Gillespie killings guy is actually, we hear him hanged outside. Because right now we haven't heard the rest of this minute anything happen from outside.
Hanged, hunged, hanged.
It's hanged.
Hunged, hanged.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have a scene where somebody's hung, but this is hanged.
What scene is that?
It's my arm.
He's watching.
Is that a future
movie.
guest coming up that I don't know about?
It's Twoo.
Oh, it's Twoo. Okay,
It's Twoo.
yeah, that's right. Much like in Young Frankenstein.
All right, Walt, what about you? Anything on your notes?
There were two things. Number one, we just talked about the line about one thing that stands between me and the land is the rightful owners. I love his delivery of that line. Mm-hmm. He really nails the intent behind it. It isn't just he's not just a line reader. He really knows how to deliver these lines.
Yeah, and it's the way he shifts his tone. It's almost like he knows, dang, the rightful owners.
Yes.
Like they're in my way, and he knows it.
Yeah, and he really plays that evil bad guy really well. He's just that smarminess. But the other thing I don't think we really got into much was when he was after he's talking to the hangman and he starts to come in and he hits his head on the window pane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so funny because he is so intentional in everything that he does.
Yes.
And then for him to do that is so it's kind of a good twist on that character, a good curveball.
This is the second head smash on the windowsill. The second
That's
one.
right.
I don't know if we'll find out in the next minute if there's another one.
There might be.
There might be.
We'll have to wait and see.
Is this the first one? This is the first one.
This is the first one.
The
This
second
is the first one.
I thought he's hit it twice already.
No.
Go ahead. Well, this is the first one. I think there may be two more coming up in the next.
So
minute.
with having you guys wait from
Hashtag
Friday
I
to
know.
today.
See, when you
ruins
go over a
everything.
weekend with me, you don't know who I'm going
think
to show
there's
up
only
as on
one
Monday.
more.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's only 2 total.
Yeah.
No, there's 3 total.
Well,
There's 3 total.
there might be a third one, right?
No, there isn't. There is 3.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
In
pretty
this
sure.
stretch of
Pretty sure.
minutes?
99.9% sure.
Is there one later in the film?
Damn.
Not in your minutes. There's only 2 in your
Oh,
minutes.
okay. Well, I'm counting
Hold your thought.
our minutes.
But if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it. Hey, I'm wrong.
No,
But I
this was
think
the
there's
first
three.
bang.
But I think there are 3 total in these minutes.
Right, because he does it again after he gets the idea of saving Bart.
And he does it one more in minute number.
But you only get 2 here.
Right.
You only get two
That's true. But I mean, total in the 4 minutes we're watching, there's 3.
To me, that's if you didn't get the Dr. Gillespie joke, you at least laughed at him hitting his head.
Yes, very true.
And I think it is funny to see sort of the very formal, very educated, very erudite character do something stupid like bang his head on the window. Like,
Yes.
It doesn't go together.
Right, it is. It's a very good Mel Brooks moment for Harvey Korman.
Absolutely. All right, so I've got all my notes in. I thought we had some, but it's going to be coming in tomorrow with some of the line changes as well from the script. So I want to encourage everyone to come back on Tuesday. Before I tell you what to expect, Mike, why don't I let you take the nod here? How do people learn a little bit more about BK on the Air?
Well, they can tune in Saturdays from 10 to noon to WBHF if they're local, or they can listen on TuneIn. And we talk about nostalgic geekiness and all kinds of fun stuff. And like I said, 10 to noon.
And BK, I know you guys, you make
We
a
don't
point
talk
of-
about snatch, though.
No.
Well, wait a minute. I've been there before.
Unless it's a land grab.
Now,
So what do you think? Land vagina?
Right.
Is your March 15th episode the annual land grab
That's
episode?
right.
Yes.
There's a legal,
BK on
if there's a legal precedent for it,
Yes.
yes.
Now, if somebody isn't able to tune in, though, on that Saturday, for the week following, you actually put the show up on SoundCloud.
Right. I mean, whatever show was on that Saturday will be up for a full week until the next Saturday. If you miss it, get the SoundCloud out. Get the free one. Don't pay for it. You don't have to pay for it, the super one, because who cares? You can listen to a couple of commercials. That's all right. And it's up all week until the following BK on the Air the next Saturday.
So is that soundcloud.com/landgrab episode?
Snatch, yes. That's exactly right. That's where you can find it.
And for us at the Wilder Ride,
Thank you.
we would really
Drive me off
appreciate it
this
if you
I'd leave that picture on an airplane. Jump out of that on an airplane.
we would really appreciate it if you just take a moment to go out to iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you're wherever you're listening to this nonsense.
You can watch it. Just watch
that's true.
the screen.
You
It just sits there.
That's
yeah.
right. You can watch our logo and just take a minute to give us a quick review. And if you're enjoying what you're hearing, we'd encourage you to give us a 5-star rating. That really helps us a couple ways. It pushes us up the charts, obviously, which is awesome. And it also helps people find us. So if they're searching for, the Wilder Ride, if they're searching for Gene Wilder, if they're searching for Blazing Saddles, that will help them find us a lot more quickly. So we would appreciate that. And it is important to make the comments, because the comments are really what drives us up the charts. The 5-star rating is awesome, and the comments are vitally important. So we really appreciate y'all taking a minute to do that.
All right, come back tomorrow, Tuesday. We've got episode 12 coming your way, and the guys from BK on the Air will still be with us. And we're going to start off the minute with There Must Be a Way of Scaring Them Off. And it's going to end with, oh, that uppity nit. And that's where we're going to end. So we're going to have to figure out the uppity what? But you have to come back here tomorrow for this, The Wilder Ride.
Awkward silence.
I got in the cab. I'm heading out of here. I'll be back tomorrow.
I got distracted
Someone
by
close the
Haley
fuck up.
Berry.
Halle Berry?
Haley?
Haley?
Bill Haley?
Isn't
and
it
the
Halle
Halle
Berry?
Berries?
Halle
Yes, it's
Berry.
Halle Berry.
Halley's Comet?
Yeah. Dave Justice.
Bill Haley screwed everything up.
Mrs. Justice.
Just Mrs. Justice. Or Billy Bob Thornton's Plaything.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Munch ball. I can think of 2 things wrong with that title.
I just thought of something while you were saying that.
Why was I not recording? Barry just said his ass is sore.
Yeah, I know.
And before Alan said his ass was touching cotton.
rolling.
Skid marks.
It's Monday.
It's Monday. Get him up, roll him out, pull him up.
Yeah, push out your tush.
Ooh, wait, that's a
Ouch.
Wait, that's my Leisure Suit Larry game. Hold on. I got to turn that off.
Push out your tush. Wait, that's later.
You're
I
doing
ruined
the
it
French
again.
mistake. Hello.
Oh, God.
And I return to our Queens listener group. Podcast Queens.
Yes, that is quite a group.
All right. Let's have some fun.